Yesterday, I did a poll in the community tab on my YouTube channel asking what the subject of my next vlog should be. Should I do a breakdown of the Nanny situation and the recent judgment rendered by the British Columbia Human Rights Tribunal, or should I do a vlog on self-representation and what I think of it, whether or not I think it's a good idea? Well, the votes were surprisingly split, but surprise, surprise, I'm doing neither of those subjects. Why? Because the city of Montreal just announced that they are canceling Halloween.
Hashtag triggered.
I'm not camera ready.
It's Halloween.
Oh no, didn't you hear? Halloween was canceled. Okay, see you later. I'm gonna get a pumpkin.
Have fun.
Thank
We
you.
need one of those Hubbard squashes.
Hubbard squash.
You
Why?
can put the chicken inside it.
Oh, like we did last year in this video right up here?
That looked disturbing.
Oh my gosh. Look, disturbing my tushy.
Ooh.
That looks
Bye.
peel off the bone like the first man to take a step on the moon.
Mommy.
That's the best thing I've ever cooked in my life.
I don't like that.
It's been cooked a long time.
It's not a joke, by the way. The city has postponed Halloween. They notified people to celebrate Halloween on Friday, November 1st, because apparently the weather's gonna be too bad or dangerous to celebrate Halloween on October 31st. I'm not joking. I'm going to read you the notice from the mayor of the city of Montreal and from the city of Montreal's Twitter handles right now. La ville de Montréal invite les citoyens et citoyennes à passer l'Halloween vendredi en raison de la pluie et des vents violents annoncés demain, ainsi qu'à prioriser la sécurité. Les services municipaux seront au rendez-vous. Translation: the city of Montreal is inviting citizens, female and male, that is the citoyen, citoyenne, to celebrate Halloween on Friday because of rain and violent winds which are announced or forecast for Halloween, and to prioritize security. And from Valérie Plante, the mayor of Montreal's Twitter feed, weather warning. I invite small and big Montrealers to celebrate Halloween on Friday because of rain and violent winds which are announced for tomorrow, that being Halloween. As an act of protest, I'm going to buy about 1,000 pounds of pumpkin right now. Nobody is canceling Halloween for me. Delicata squash, by the way, if you want a great delicata squash recipe, I'll post the link to that video right here. Here. And we are making what I am coining delicata hole-in-ones. 3, 4, how many can we fit? How many can we fit? One more. Take one quail egg, and how do you, by the way, the trick to opening a quail egg, you can't really crack it, you have to sort of chop the top of it. Now come look at this, come right here. And at first, I genuinely thought it was a joke or a meme that someone took seriously, and then the rumor started circulating. But lo and behold, the mayor of Montreal and the city of Montreal announced that they were postponing Halloween to November 1st because of bad weather. I mean, that is like the city saying, yeah, you know, the weather is going to be really bad, so we're going to postpone Christmas to December 26th. You know what? There's a big snowstorm in the forecast, so we're going to postpone New Year's to January 3rd. I mean, this city has gone from a nanny state to an actual nanny that nobody hired. Oh, God. A nanny that nobody hired. And I want everyone to appreciate what the heck is going on. It's not like the government is saying school is canceled. The weather's too bad, it's gonna be dangerous for students, it's gonna be dangerous for teachers, so we'll suspend school, and if we have to make up for the extra day at the end of the year, we'll do it. The government is literally saying that we are postponing a non-governmental holiday which is associated with the day of the year because the weather is forecast to be bad. Barney, you're blocking the shot. But the truly amazing thing to me are the two diametrically opposing reactions from two segments of the population. I ran into my neighbor this morning and she said, hey, have you heard Halloween is postponed? And I said, the government can postpone Halloween. They have not received that mandate. This is not something that the government has the authority to issue a postponement of in the first place. This is micromanaging people's very existences. This is not infrastructure, this is not schooling, this is not hospitals. This is Halloween, and the government has no business micromanaging what parents ought or ought not be doing in order to celebrate Halloween, which is associated with a day of the year, a day that can't be changed. And to illustrate the two diametrically opposing responses from the general population, let me read to you a Facebook post from a friend of mine and my response to them. And let's do this inside over a cup of coffee, shall we? Ugh. Cancel Halloween. Cancel Halloween. And let me read you a Facebook post that perfectly embodies the diverging opinions between two segments of the population. I'm baffled by the grown adults who are flipping tables over the notion of not making kids go out in torrential rain and high winds for trick-or-treating. Guys, the kids will be miserable and possibly endangered by extreme weather conditions. Want to demonstrate resilience? Suck it up and hand out candy on Friday. And for the love of all that's spooky, quit your whining. Now, I don't ordinarily engage in Facebook tiffs, but when I do,
I make the most compelling response in the history of humankind.
I don't think that's what people are flipping out about. I think people are flipping out about a nanny state government that thinks it is in the business of issuing public decrees as relate to purely personal conduct and questions of parental authority, not governmental authority. I don't need the government telling me when they think, based on notoriously inaccurate predictions, that the weather is going to be too bad for me to celebrate Halloween with my friends and family. And I think people find it disconcerting that the government thinks they have this type of self-proclaimed authority in the first place. Ninja edit typos. Now, I am very reluctant to invoke the slippery slope argument because I think that once you start invoking the slippery slope argument, it's a slippery slope towards invoking the slippery slope argument in every argument that you ever have. I did it. I nailed it.
I nailed it.
But it is a slippery slope to when the government starts telling us that they are postponing Halloween. No, it's not a slippery slope anymore. They have jumped off the edge. And just to raise some of the not even reductio ad absurdums, how about just some of the logical problems? What if they're wrong on the weather, and the weather is in fact 24 hours off? Are they going to cancel Halloween on Friday? Are we now going to have to start going to the government to see if Halloween is happening in any given year? What happens if I decide to go trick-or-treating? Is the government going to start patrolling, handing out tickets for reckless child endangerment because they have decreed that the weather is so dangerous that parents can't safely bring their kids trick-or-treating? This may seem like a manic caffeine-induced joke, but I tell you, we are one step away from it. And my gut core reflex to this, the government telling me that Halloween is postponed, really allows me to make more sense of my childhood. Kierkegaard famously wrote that life can only be lived forwards, but it only makes sense backwards. As a child, if someone just arbitrarily handed me down a rule, I would react in pretty much the same way. What is your authority to give me that rule in the first place? And as a child, they call it rebellious because you're supposed to do what adults say and you're supposed to follow the rules, whereas as an adult, I just call it conscientious. I question the authority of people who think they have the authority to tell me how to live my life on a daily basis. This event is the personification of government overreach and cancel culture having reached the government. Someone says something you don't like, cancel them. Someone's attending an event that you don't like, cancel it. Weather's not good for Halloween,
Cancel it!
if this were in fact not reality but rather a George Orwell cautionary tale, people would take this as the absurdity of a government run amok. A government literally dictating when you can and cannot go trick-or-treating. And I know some of you that have been watching my vlogs for a long time are going to be saying, Viva Frei, I told you so. Canada has no freedom of speech. They fine a comedian $42,000 for jokes. They tell you what words you can and cannot use. Canada has no freedom of press. They ban certain media organizations from covering certain federal election debates. Federally funded media organizations actually sue the Conservative Party for alleged copyright infringement because the Conservative Party uses excerpts from news items in their political videos. Canada has excessive taxation. I know some of you out there are probably shouting at me right now through your computer screen that you have been telling me this for the last year. Incidentally, if you want to see my vlog on the Quebec Human Rights Tribunal that fined Mike Ward $42,000 for making a joke, I'll link it right here. And if you want to see my video on whether or not Canada in fact has compelled speech as described by Jordan Peterson, I'll link that video right here. And I know those of you who are yelling at your computer screen that you've been warning me about this are saying to yourselves, this is what makes him finally snap? They cancel Halloween? That was his straw that broke the camel's back?
It may very well have been.
Yeah, okay, maybe it's the excessive amounts of caffeine talking, but this may very well be the straw that broke the camel's back. This, as we say in French, c'est le goutte d'eau qui a versé la vase. C'est le goutte d'eau qui a versé la vase. It is the drop of water that spilled over the bucket. And before I end this video, the standard reminder, if you like my videos, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, drop a comment, share, etc., etc. Merch, even if I don't follow my own advice, it's still good advice. I'm sweating. That's how angry I got. I've been sweating through my keep calm, and how ironic is that? But I need to share one last tip with you before we go. All right, this is the delicata squash. It is absolutely delicious. What you do is you cut the top off, you scoop out the inside with a spoon, and you spice it up to your liking, and you bake it for like 45 minutes until soft. But this is not the most magical of the squash. This one is. This is the most magical of the squash. It is called in Quebec the Aladdin's turban squash, or the turban squash, or the Turk's turban squash. It is absolutely delicious. You cut it, scoop it out, bake it, spice it, use it as mashed potatoes, use it as mashed potatoes. What I like to do is you can cut it open, hollow it out, put a little quail or some piece of meat inside, bake it inside. The fat from the meat tenderizes the flesh of the squash. It is delicious. Anyhow, and it's totally beautiful. I have no idea why it grows like this. Actually, I would call it the Mario mushroom because it looks like a mushroom from Mario Brothers, but whatever. Now you know your vlog and how to cook squash. Peace out. Boom! All right, and for anyone who thinks that this is actually just a Canadian problem, there was a city in Virginia, I think, that actually threatened jail time for anyone who was trick-or-treating that was over the age of 14. They actually only reversed or softened the regulation after they were mercilessly mocked on social media and even on Jimmy Kimmel. And in Belleville, Illinois, it has been illegal as of 2008 for teenagers to go trick-or-treating. And in Canada, we have obviously had our own examples of government overreach. In some municipalities, they have also made it illegal for teenagers to trick-and-treat. In others, they've imposed strict curfews. So it is not strictly a Canadian problem, but with that said, it certainly seems that we have taken the lead on this. And with that said, have yourself a happy and safe Halloween.